Well, let's dive into some conversation. Andy, why don't you kick us off and get us rolling into what we want to talk about today?
Well, I thought I'd switch it up again. Last week we had a great conversation, and people send me questions during the week. So from here moving out, if something comes to mind anytime, anywhere, even bad dad jokes, send Tanner or I a quick text so we keep it on the docket. So let's talk about priorities. Let's talk about the priorities that need to be accomplished. We are entering the end of the third quarter. We are 4 weeks out from 2/3 or 3/4 of the year being done. So what needs to be accomplished in your business in the next 4 weeks? Has to, like we're going to be breaking glass and chairs if this stuff does not get hit. What needs to happen in the next 4 weeks? And look, for all you, when we go back in person full time, I do have the Focus bat. It's truly a bat. It's made out of wood. So focus. What needs to happen? Jess is like, I'm not scared of you. I got kids. You got nothing on me.
Yeah, bats don't scare me. So for me, I am partnerships are what I'm concentrating on right now. So I don't have a good person to go to for the financial aspect of my business. I'm an insurance agent, Tom, in case you didn't know. So I don't like to touch the financial side. That is not my comfort zone. That is not what I am trained to do. I am very good at insurance. I am not very good at the finance side of it, which always usually flows right into the finance when you're talking about insurance. So I'm looking for partners that can help me with that and really facilitate a good relationship with someone. I've been looking for that for a long time, and I think I'm really close to finding it. So I have 2 people I'm working with right now, and that's something that has to get done. I would like it done within the next 2 weeks. I'm traveling to Dallas for a meeting in the next couple weeks. And then at the end of September, I've got some training on board for my team. So we're just trying to get that done. And that's kind of the highest priority right now for business.
Okay, so I have to ask, when you talk about finance, can you be more specific of what you're looking for?
Like a financial planner, but also the requirement for me is that they're also licensed in insurance, because I need them to understand what I'm doing in addition to what they're doing. So it's sort of hard to find somebody that does both, but there are people out there that kind of marry the two, and that's what I'm looking for.
So are you licensed as a financial planner?
No.
How are you going to know if you find the right person?
I want them to be a licensed financial planner, but I also want them to have their licenses for insurance, at least for P&C. Most of them have their life and health already because they're doing IULs and things that kind of cross over.
Yeah.
So that's important. And I think from my side, I am a relationship builder. I'm not transactional. And I'm finding that a lot of the financial guys that I'm talking to, most of them are men, not very many of them are women. They are transactional. They want to get in, they want to get out, they want to find the solution, they're numbers people, and they just want to get it done. I don't work my business that way. I am very relationship oriented, and that's hard to find. So that's kind of my dilemma right now, which is why it's a high priority. I've been looking for a long time.
I'm trying to think, just because my mind is rolling through this. Tanner, do any of our partners have those capabilities right now?
I don't know if I know of many that are licensed in both. I'm trying to think through, because I've got a number of financial advisors, planners, and such that I know fairly well, but I don't know that any of them necessarily have their P&C.
And the life and health is actually more important, but if they have the full package, that's great, because then they fully understand. Because once you do, I kind of start out with the insurance bit, but by the time we get done with their insurance, then I want to make sure that they have a full package of their needs met, right? For the entire family. That means life insurance. That means any type of investment help that they need. That means protecting their finances from Biden. Sorry. That means protecting everything they have that is going to matter later, you know, and part of that I can't do and I don't want to do. So I do want to find somebody I can trust with that.
Do you want somebody that is local?
I would prefer someone local so that I can, you know, create a relationship with someone like that. They don't have to be local. The one woman I'm talking to lives in Dallas. And she has a very successful business. She's licensed throughout insurance and she's a financial planner and she has her securities. So it's rare to find someone like that. So I am talking to her. I'm actually talking to her right after this call. And I'm crossing my fingers that it works out, but I have been looking for a long time.
Hey, Tanner, I know I deal with Corwin on a lot of things on the exit strategy for business owners. He has a PNC part of it, but property casualty.
Does he have PNC?
I
wasn't
think
sure
he
if
does in his
PNC or not.
office. I think he does
Oh.
with his team. Have you ever met Corwin Davidson?
No.
Actually, in addition, I've got a financial advisor that I've been working with for a year or so now, and I just sent her a message, asked her if she has her life and health and PNC insurance in additional, and she says yes, she does.
Awesome.
Like I could make that introduction if you'd like as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And so what does that do for your business? What does a partnership do for your business?
Partnerships for me give me the ability to give my client the full service, full scale, everything. Even the things that I'm not interested in doing or don't want to do. So I kind of call it a team mentality without it being my team, but a team of people that I would trust with my information and my finances is someone that I would refer over to my clients.
Okay.
So I don't want my service for them and my expertise to stop at insurance. I want it to go forward, but I want to be able to trust somebody with that next part.
Yeah, love it. And that's good, because building strategic alliances is what the terminology I use, is that we're all looking for the betterment of the client. So it's a win-win-win, right? It's a win for the client. Most importantly, it's a win for you and it's a win for your partners, because it builds a strong relationship to move forward.
Right. And this one's huge for me. Like I have a lot of strategic partners in my business that are plumbers, that are roofers, that are yard guys, that do all the things that you would think someone would ask you as an agent, you know, having a homeowner's policy or an auto policy or something like that. But this one's really big because this is a huge chunk of stress for a lot of people, not knowing where to put their money. If they've left a job and they have a 401k they need to roll over, they have no idea what to do with it. And I'm not the person to tell them what to do with that, but I do want to refer them over to someone that's going to help them, you know, full service and help them kind of understand what to do and what's the best track for them personally.
Okay, excellent. All right, so if you feel that, so that's got to be done before the end of this quarter, right?
Yes.
Next couple of weeks. So if you fill that void, then what happens?
I will end up getting more referrals from them and they'll end up getting more referrals from me. So it's mutually beneficial. It will allow me to fully service my clients. Whereas before I would say, you know what, let me try and find someone for you. I didn't have anyone. And I hate saying that to people. So I met Tanner at a Master Networks meeting and those are great, but they weren't serving me. So I don't do that anymore. I don't know if Tanner even does that, but I was president of a chapter for a while and I did really enjoy those relationships. And I still use a lot of the people in those groups, but I just felt like once you find the people that are really going to be your core group of people that you trust with your clients and with your personal information, then it's just so much easier to say, okay, I do have this person and feel really confident in sending them over one way. I also like to have my clients' information all in one place. So if they have specific needs for like life or health insurance, I do all of the health, but if they can have their life and finances all together in one place, that's huge for them. And then the next step is estate planning, right? So when we get to the end, then I'm making sure that they have someone that knows where it's all going if something goes wrong, and they know where that is. And so it's a gradual step of things that kind of give them a checklist of what they need to evaluate. And I want to be able to check all those boxes for them, or be able to direct them to someone that checks all those boxes.
So how many agents do you have in your agency there? Is it just
About
you?
20.
Oh, you have like 20 agents in your agency?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That's great. Are you an independent? Do they work for you?
Well, I mentor them. They don't really work for me. We're all independent.
Oh,
I
got it.
brought them on, so there's like an override aspect, but that's it.
Excellent. So with that partnership, which is it's controllable, but it's out of your control, is how long have you been looking for this person?
About 6 months.
So not an easy one to fill.
No. And I will say I'm a little picky. I am. I'm not gonna lie. I've run through my share of financial planners. Some of them Tanner knows. But there hasn't been anything wrong with any one of them. I have, directed clients to several different people. I just haven't found that one person that I really want to just throw everything at and partner with.
So it's a trust thing.
Yes.
So have you been burned?
The more availability they have to different companies, the way I do and the way I work, that's rare, right? So for a financial planner, they're usually tied to a broker or a business name, like, we only do Prudential, or we only do Principal, or we only do Nationwide, or we only, So I would like to find someone that's more like me, that's independent, that actually can quote several different companies, find the right product for that family, and hone in on that. And nothing else matters. That's what matters. Finding the right product for that family. And everybody's different. Everybody's needs and risk factors are different. So it has been really difficult for me to find somebody like that.
That is really interesting. And that does take time, right? So have you been burned before?
Yes.
Tom, have you ever been burned by a strategic partner?
Oh, man. That's why I got out of insurance.
So even in your work today, have you been burned in your line of work today?
I mean, I've had people change their minds, but I mean, that's just clients.
How about partners, strategic partners?
No.
So here's a question for you all, especially you, Jess. If you could put it down, and I bring this up because I did an alignment yesterday. And so here's the question. Who do you trust? So you don't have to yell it out. Just take a sheet of paper and write down, who do I trust? Who do I trust wholeheartedly in my business?
It's a short list.
We're not surprised.
Yeah, after the conversation we just had, is there 3 on it?
There's 4 people on it.
Oh, see, that's excellent. So let's define trust. So before I go to Jess, Tom, what is trust?
Trust is knowing they're going to do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, and they're not going to, in a partnership, that they're not going to. You just know that they're not going to give a client to somebody else, or if there's a need to it, at a minimum, that they're going to have a conversation with you and say, hey, they're pissed at you, so pissed that they're not going to talk to you or tell you, that kind of thing. But just somebody that's going to, honesty above all else.
Love it. Love it. Jess, do you want to add anything to it? Tanner, you can jump in.
Faithful honesty, I think. Having faith in that person, that they are who you think they are.
Okay. Excellent. So in trust, is it better to have a satisfied or a loyal, trusted partner in work?
Loyal.
Absolutely loyal, right? They've got to be able to go longevity. And when things when things are in question, the first conversation is with you, right? Then it's not a third conversation. It's like, hey, we've never, and we have our partners, and we, I know Tanner has, and I've been going through this, and we've run into some stuff, and we're like, hey, we've never been down this road before. What do you think? And what ends up happening is that dialogue creates great dialogue, because then everybody's like, well, I don't know. Well, what about this? And then we kind of come to terms of what we need to do. And that's when I talk about loyal trust. They do have short lists. But so in the past, we've all been burned by something, somewhere, somehow. How do we, with all of those things that have happened, how do we begin to have open trust with new contacts?
It all starts with conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah. A
Yeah,
good
but
conversation. And I think trust is earned as you go. So having accountability, and open accountability, meaning neither person's going to freak out when the other one is called on their bullshit, right? So
Right?
that's something that I think, if you can have that with someone, that shows me that I can trust this person. Like if we can go back and forth and have that kind of conversation, that's showing me trust, but it is earned and it takes time. So I think that's part of the reason it's taken me so long to find the right person. And maybe they're a unicorn. I don't know. I'm hoping that I find somebody that can do all of it, but I want to find that unicorn. And I think I'm getting close, but yeah.
So what is the definition of communication?
Go ahead, Tanner.
I just give away the answer. I can't do that.
That's all right.
He might-
I
he
mean,
better
I've got, when you ask that question, I just have the, college speech class, sender, receiver, interference, all that garbage. So you just tell me your definition, because it's gonna be better than what I say.
Jess, you want to take a stab at it, or are you going to defer with Tom?
I go to Tanner on this one.
All right, Tanner, what is it?
Get it right,
The,
dude.
tr- the true response you get.
What?
Communication, the true response that you get.
So now what does that mean to you, Tom?
That doesn't mean anything to me.
Really?
True response, yeah, no, that,
So think of it like this for a second.
if you rearrange the words, getting a true response.
It's the true response you get, and it's defined like this. So if Tom and I are having a conversation and I express information to Tom and Tom says, uh-huh, and then we have dialogue based on that, uh-huh, and then Tom goes off and does what he thinks I said, and then I have a different interpretation of what that is, and Tom does it different than the way that I thought it should be done. Whose fault is it?
Both.
Wrong, it's mine. It is mine. So when we talk about the true response we get in communication, especially in partnerships, clarity kills drama. You will hear me say that over and over and over again, clarity. And I use some phrases like, does that make sense? Tell me what you heard. Hey, we've had this great dialogue. Let me run back through the high points as I see them. And tell me if I missed anything. And then what you do is you have dialogue about what was said, because again, interpretation, perception of what we think we have going on versus what we have going on. And that is the killer between business partnerships, is because we get into something and, well, I interpreted it this way. Tanner, do we ever disagree on interpretation? Never, absolutely never.
Yes.
Yeah, all the time. Like, what? Wait, that's not what I said. That's not what it, but again, we have
That's not what
those
I meant.
questions. And it's in partnerships, and we've had those with our other partners too, within this community and in the last 10 years, is it's just, how do we communicate? How do we, so if Jess, if you want something from this other person, whoever it is, Do you give them complete clarity where there cannot be any misinterpretation of how it's going to flow?
No. I try to do everything in writing as much as possible.
Right.
But when we're communicating verbally, that's when things go awry.
That's interesting. I think it'd be the opposite.
Really?
If you misinterpret even a text.
And it happens both ways. You're both right. So every time we have a conversation, if especially when you're building a partnership, here's what I heard that we were saying. Did I miss anything? Here, add in, fill in the blanks. What did I miss here? So now after you have a verbal conversation, you have a follow-up email. And I always tell people, and as you get to know me more and more, there's action items. What are you going to do with this information? How are you going to bring it back? When will I know it's going to be done? How's it going to be completed? What's the format? I go through all of these things because it's a teaching moment to teach you to teach others to communicate the way that you want them to be communicated, or you want to be communicated with. So it's always that. Here's what I believe we talked about. Please help me fill in the blanks. What did I miss? Let me know if you have any questions. If I have some words out of place, please just let's fix them now so we can move forward. I said I was going to do this, blah, blah, blah. You said you were going to do this, and you always ask, is that correct? It's always a follow-up to a follow-up so that we can get information out there, especially in building in a partnership. And then after you get, after you stop dating with people, then you can go to the, okay, so we're going to get married. Here's the do's and don'ts of what we're going to work through here. Here's a line in the sand. And Jess, because of what's happened, and since we're speaking freely, look, I've been burned on this, this, and this. So as soon as you cross this line, my tolerance level is already over. So if you come to these, you're going to piss me off. End of discussion. And our relationship is over.
I like that. Very direct. I will say that getting divorced with children has prepared me for this because communication is everything. So any conversation that I have with my ex-husband is later done in writing and documented and confirmed. And so, yeah, it has definitely prepared me for that.
And we have to. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at it. Trust me, I have my moments. But especially when I talk to Tex, it sometimes comes out as looks like I'm having a stroke, but I'm really not. But it's clarity. It's clarity kills drama, especially in difficult situations. And setting up partnerships, and we call them, rules of the game. When I say these things piss me off, that is your rules of the game. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. If we step outside of these boxes, here's what's going to happen. And this is how we'll move forward.
I think setting that expectation is really important.
You have to.
Before I was an insurance agent, when I worked in public relations and communications, it was very important for me to set that expectation right up front and say, you are going to do this. You are not going to say this. It was very specific. And to the point of being extremely direct. So I've had to soften it a little bit in the insurance business just because I'm dealing with clients directly and I don't want them to think I'm horrible. But yeah, it's been that. I think that's why I'm so picky.
And you have to be. I think in owning our own business, we are allowed to have you call it picky, I just call it rules, and it's so funny. The older we get, the less tolerant we become to shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
So the picky, call it specific.
There you go. We want clear optics. This
Yes.
is what it looks like.
Absolutely.
It's very important with the strategic partner piece because that's a piece that I work on a lot in our business. And one of the clear realizations that's come up in the last few months or so is the difference between strategic partners that just want to say they want to partner versus true partners that you want to work with. And so we've gone as far as saying, you're going to be a partner within our firm, an actual, true, real partner. there's a regular cadence that we are going to set meetings, whether that's in person, over the phone, Zoom. It's monthly. We're meeting at this time. Here's what we're going to cover. It always starts with a review of the rules of the game. This is what it means to be a partner. This is the expectations you have of me. This is the expectations we have of you. And now we're going to go through, some details, some learning, make sure that we're both making this beneficial for everybody involved. And that includes just taking care of the referrals in the right way. But I had definitely seen that transition from, well, yeah, I kind of just want to partner. I trust what you do. I'll kind of send you business from time to time. It's like, that's great. I don't have anything against that. But is that truly a partner? Or is that just somebody that you just kind of know? So setting those clear expectations, and here's what it's going to be, and here's what it means to truly be a partner. Because when we do it this way, the expectation isn't only that our business is benefiting, but now I have an intentionality going back to you as a partner. And here's how I'm going to continue to help grow your business and refer clients to you as well.
And I have people that I refer over to friends that do different things. Like I may have a friend that's a personal trainer, or I may have a friend that does something very specific, like graphic design. And I know that those personalities will be great together. So I make that connection. I don't consider that a partnership. It's just a referral, or, hey, I'm connecting two people that I think are going to do great together. And I feel good about that. But with the partnership, it's so much more. It's so much more of an interactive relationship and an ongoing respect of each other and respect of those expectations. So yeah, I hope I'm getting close. Y'all say a prayer for me, because
No prayers needed, work required.
I've got a couple people that I want to introduce to you. So I'm going to introduce you via email to a couple financial planners and advisors that I know. And interview them, have conversations, find the right fit. That's kind of how I'm going to set it up. Is just, I think it'd be a good connection, make the connection, let you guys go from there. But see if I can't help in a few ways on that for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Tom, what do you do now? You said you did insurance before.
I am the most awesome, including anybody that you know, real estate agent in the whole state of Texas.
I'm going to have to say,
you don't have the information that I do. So
well, I have a lot of information.
Anyway, that's what I do. I'm always in the. Been doing
And
it
you're
for
in
15 years.
Georgetown?
What's that?
You're in Georgetown?
I am in Georgetown.
Who's your broker?
Avis. I'm Keller Williams. Avis Wukash was the
Okay.
Texas Real Estate Commission
Nice.
chair for, I think, 16 years. And so anytime there's any nuance of a change in contracts, we
You know about it first.
we don't do anything wrong here. We don't do it wrong more than once, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Love it. Love it. Does that help answer your question today, Jess? I want to make sure you have all the information for your next meeting.
Yes. And thank you. And your quote of clarity kills drama, I am loving that.
I wrote that down, and I wrote that, I don't know if that's times or plus, but movement, momentum, consistency, manifestation.
I wrote that down last time too.
This, we actually have always had movement, momentum. And one thing that our business has taught us this year, and Tanner was having this conversation, is the difference. The difference between good and average is right here. It has made the biggest difference in our organization this year. I mean, just helping clients and the consistency with process for our clients and helping them reach the potential that they want to reach. It's that movement, momentum, and coaching is with the consistency. We've really gotten clear with our clients. It's motivation, coaching, education, and planning for all of our clients, and not necessarily in that order every day, but we get really, I would say that we ask them to get really focused on the highest value, highest return on investment for their business every day. And this, I put it up there. I've written over it a couple of times. I erase it and I put it back.
Motivation, education, who and what?
It's motivation, education, coaching, and most importantly, planning. We motivate to plan, and then we coach and help you be accountable to the discipline that you set into place. Because everybody likes change.
Well, unlike a lot of people, I've got a couple of boots full of change. So, oh,
Yeah,
not that
there,
kind.
there you go. That's exactly it.
And that accountability will lead to the consistency.
It really does. And that's where yesterday, Tanner was there. We did a strategy session with a young gentleman, and I said, I'm going to give you the acronym first, and then I'm going to tell you what I need to tell you. And he's like, what? And I said, nice. Nice, right? Nothing inside me cares enough. And the reason I said that to him is he needed to hear some things that I didn't necessarily know if he was going to take or not, but I was going to say them because that's my job. And I wanted to give him the acronym. And after the meeting, he sent us an email later the afternoon, thanking us for being so brutally honest with them. It's just, that's how people move.
Hey, telling someone your why is not big enough, you need to find a new why, dig deeper. They're like, what? And then they either get offended or motivated. Go any direction.
Yeah. Or you ask them, boy, that's a fat word. Tell me, can you be more specific with your why? They go, what? What's a fat word? I want to be incredible at, oh, what does incredible mean?
I
Kinda
make them
like-
sit down and word map it. If they can't get there, I'm like, okay, get out a piece of paper.
That's right. That's right. Here we go. So
Yeah.
who does that for you, Jess?
So I have a life coach, Ashley Torian. She actually lives in Dallas, but I met her through another job. And she came to a convention and did some coaching there on a bigger level, right? And honestly, I thought, oh, this is a bunch of hippie bullshit. I don't need a coach. I don't need a life coach. Like, this is stupid. So I said, you know what?
Really thinking, do you?
Something, right? So something pushed me towards her. I don't know what it was, but I felt like you have to just try this. Like, give it a good try. Like, be all in. So I did, and I've been with her for 2.5 years now. And she's amazing. She's more of a life coach, though, not a business coach. So I don't have the business coach side of it. A lot of it bleeds in, right? Because she does do a lot of work on you, which obviously will bleed into your business and the confidence factor and everything centered within you. So it does bleed over, but being on these calls has really helped me because it's business focused, and our calls with her are not always business focused. They're very rarely business focused, but a lot of us are from the same kind of industry on those calls. And that was an industry I was part of for a very long time, part of a network marketing company. Okay. And a lot of the people she coaches are network marketers. I dabble in that, but that's not what I do anymore. So for me, it's more of a personal coaching rather than business coaching.
Love it. Love it. So is it in the group setting like this, or is it one-to-one?
She does both with me, actually. So a lot of times we will get into a lot of the business stuff one-on-one, but the group coaching is once a week, and we do that on Thursdays. Love it.
Love it.
I tap into her when I need it. So I'll just text her and be like, I need a session. She's like, okay. So it's nice to be able to tap into her when I need her.
Really good.
But yeah.
Awesome.
Big advocate of coaching.
Well, and that's great. Anybody that's getting any type of coaching in my world is personal development and is moving forward. Mm-hmm. You know, what is, you know, when we look at coaching and you look at personal development, and this quote has stuck with me for 10 years. If you're not learning, you're dying. Mm-hmm. Most people turn 45 and they're waiting to die because they don't do anything different. They don't learn anything new, and they refuse to change the way that they're doing. And that's one of those, you know, as we talked about today, conversations, and I haven't got to my question yet, but I'll let you guys start looking at your notes. So tell me, what was your number one takeaway from today? And we talk about those things in coaching, this call specifically so that people can go, yeah, where's it at? Where's it loaded at? What? So clarity kills drama. Great. Where's that going on your wall? What does that mean to you? How do you print that on notes before you go into meetings? It's all of these nuances to help ourselves move forward.
I think the clarity kills drama is what stood out to me. But for me, that also means I can take what I've learned through having to deal with my ex-husband and transfer that into work, which I never really thought I would do. But the way I communicate with him is very clear, and it has to be. So I think taking that into a less hostile environment will really help my business too, because I wasn't following through the way I do with him in my business. So I didn't think of it that way, but it makes complete sense, because then there's no chance for misinterpretation when you do it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when dealing with, I'm going to say this, you didn't say this, but I'm going to say this. When we're dealing with difficult situations within our lives, the learning can cross both ways.
Mm-hmm.
It has to cross both ways, because there's always something, no matter how difficult the situation is, how painstaking it might be, it's what do we pull out of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was really hard for me to find something positive out of that experience, but I've learned over the last 5 years that I have gained a lot of positivity and things that I'm using now in my life that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't gone through all of that horrible stuff. So it has brought some good things into my life, and I'm kind of concentrating on that part now.
Good for you. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Anything else we should discuss? We're at about 43 minutes right now. Anything else you guys want to throw on the table today?
No, I'm just glad that you're still here. It's been 4 weeks and this is my first week really back in things. So appreciate you maintaining and being steady so that I could just come back in.
Me too. I'm very sporadic, and I'm sorry about that, Tanner. I apologize. I want to be here. Last week I had a meeting and things happen, but I want to try and be more consistent in here. So I'm telling you that so you can hold me accountable.
I'd be happy to hold you accountable.
Well, we appreciate that, really.
Yeah.
I asked Andy to just hold me and he said no, but I mean, I don't blame him.
Keep trying.
That's right. All right. So what was your number one learning, Tom?
Interestingly, it's the movement. I mean, it's just creating an awareness, movement, momentum, consistency, manifestation. It's stuff that, I mean, I've got make your bed and thinking in bets and all this stuff. But I mean, that's all elements of what I read. So it's just what's the right word? It boiled it down to that, really. I mean, just help clarity.
Love it. Love it. Thank you very much. I already got yours, Jess, unless there's anything else you want to add to that.
No, it was a really good session. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Tanner, go ahead. I knew you were going to say something.
The only thing I was going to say earlier was just thank you for sharing. And that's the whole point of this call. If you can't make a week or so, it's not the end of the world. We're going to continue to be here and do this. And the group is growing. We're seeing more and more faces kind of rotate in and out. I know this is a smaller group today, but it's been fun to see it, and I'm glad you're seeing the value and such out of it. So as Andy said at the very beginning, if there's things that pop up throughout the week that, oh, this would be a good question or a good topic to kind of go through that I want to know some more information on, send it over to us. We'll start kind of keeping a list, and especially as this group grows, be able to go through and kind of hit some of those highlight things that has been on everyone's mind over the course of the week.